Hello everyone. In the previous class, I just explained about what is class, example for the class and syntax for the class. So in the example, I took your lab program example only so that you people can understand easily and it will be helpful to learn lab program too. So where you are finding out the simple interest. I am revising the same. So I taken a class as a keyword, then interest, that is a class name, a set of curly braces followed by a semicolon. Under private you have taken a variables which are required for the particular class, and under public you are accepting the data member, that is member functions. So these are called as member functions. These are member functions. I am repeating again because now we are going to explain more about member functions. So these are called as data members. So there is a clear difference. Data members are the variables inside the class and member functions are the functions inside the class. So member functions here are get data, compute and put data, and all are of type void. That means they are return nothing. So what is member function? That is the topic we started with today. So what is member function? Member function, as you see, the functions which are declared inside the class are called as member functions. So member functions are the functions which are declared inside the class are called as member functions. Example, here you can see get data, compute, put data, etc. So I hope you understand what is member functions. Now we have a topic that is each 5 mark questions in your examination, that is what is member function and how you are going to define the member functions inside the class and outside the class. So now you know what is class definition, right? So inside the class also you can expand the member functions, outside the class also you can expand the member functions. So we are learning about member functions in the today's class. So definition, as I already explained, what is member function? Member functions are nothing but the functions or methods which are declared inside the class. So how you can declare member functions? Inside the class definition. Inside the class definition. So class definition is again I am writing the same. So that is class, the keyword, and then you will be having a class name. So this can be a general syntax also, what I am writing, and a set of flower braces along with semicolon, and then you will be having a private, that is access specifier, under which you are going to write the data members for the particular class. Along with data members you also can define member functions. But students, listen carefully that you are not supposed to expand member functions and a private, and unless you are not capable of accessing them outside the class. Always we prefer to write or explain the member functions under public. So under public we just declared member functions inside the class when you are writing a class definition. But when you are going to define them inside the class, we are going to expand them. So that is a difference. Clearly if you observe, you can understand. Under public I am going to write void member function name. So member function. For that member function I am writing the function body inside the class itself. See, I am explaining the function body here itself. That is the only difference. Inside the class you are writing the definition or you are expanding the member function. If you define your member function inside the class itself, is called as defining the member functions inside the class definition, which actually very important, which comes for 5 marks. So defining a member function inside the class definition is this one. That means you are writing class, then class name as usual, and you can write all the private members which are required. Under public, you are expanding your member function. Usually we write member functions and data members, but here we are writing the return type specifier, then member function, and then inside the curly braces we are writing function body. As usual, how you learn in a first PUC, you are writing your function body here itself. So this is the syntax to define the member functions inside the class definition. Okay, so now along with one example, I make a clear explanation about this. So for the class name, we take as interest. That is a simple interest example only I am taking, so that it will be easy for you by taking same example again and again. So for the private data members, I will take, what is the data members? P, T, R and SI. So I ask user to enter the values. Values of what? So under public void, I accept the data inside the member function. So what are the data required to find the simple interest? You require principal amount, time, rate. So we ask the user for that. Cout, enter PTR, enter PTR, enter PTR. You have to write endl, as there is no space I am not writing, so you people can understand, you know that how to write the cout statement. Then we have cin. For cin I am accepting PTR. So whatever the variables I declared here, the same variables I am accepting here. And then I end my class definition. Class definition must be ended with curly braces and a semicolon. See, you can easily check what I am doing here. I am explaining the get data, I am expanding the get data, that is member function of the class interest inside the class. It is inside the class. How you know that it is inside the class? Because it is within the curly braces and followed by semicolon. So this one is a member function which is expanding, that is defining a member function inside the class definition is this one. So this is a clear example to explain how you define a member function inside the class definition. Both the syntax and example will give you 5 marks in your theory examination. So this is a lab example program I am explaining so that you can make out easily. Now after the member function, declaration of member function and defining a member function inside the class, we move on to outside the class. How outside the class will look like? Outside the class means defining the member functions outside the class. Almost all of your lab programs are we are going to write using outside the class definition only. So make sure that you people are very clear about this. Member functions are nothing but the functions which we are writing inside the class. Inside the class we wrote some functions. We have to expand them outside. We can also expand them inside. If it is smallest enough, we can explain inside itself when some functions are lengthier, so that you have to take them outside. While taking outside class definition, we need one operator. What is that operator called as? That operator is called as scope resolution operator. This is a new one you are learning. It is a Viva question. Scope resolution operator. So what is scope resolution operator? A scope resolution operator is an operator which is used to define member functions defined outside the class. So what is the symbol used for scope resolution operator? 2 colons together. See, this is colon. If you write it like this, this is scope resolution operator. The scope resolution operator is a combination of 2 colons together. So the scope resolution operator is a one which you are using to define member functions outside the class definition. How to use it to define the member functions outside the class that I am going to show you by using the example. First, before that, we need to go for the syntax. Syntax to define member functions. First, for this no need of writing class again. Directly we will write outside the class. How we are going to define member function outside the class? Directly we can write. So what we need to write a function? Return type. Then you need class name. Then you need a scope resolution operator. Then member function along with argument list. So argument 1 is continuing down. Argument 2 till argument n. How many number of arguments you need? You can write. So no semicolon here because we are starting with curly braces. Here you are writing body of the function. So it is outside the class. So function body will be completely outside by using the operator called as scope resolution. If I write some dots there, then again you will get confused. So I am not writing. Look into this carefully. Return type specifier. Then class name, whatever class name you take, you can write here class name. Then member function name, it may be a get data, put data, withdraw, deposit, whatever which belongs to your class. So the same class, the member function whatever you are writing here, that must belongs to this particular class. Along with that, you are writing, if you have any arguments for the specific function, you are writing them. N number of arguments you can write. Along with that, you are writing a function body. So this is the syntax to define the member function outside the class definition, which is very important. So now we have come to know, let us discuss about the example for the member function, how you are going to define outside the class definition. So example. To take an example, I need to explain again the class definition. So let's go for class again. Class. So for the class what we take? Interest only we take. That is the simple interest program. I take class name as interest. For this I am not writing private now. If I am not writing private means what is the meaning of that? Private. All the variables whatever I write here become private because that is default access specifier. So P, T, R and SI. So now double PTR, SI are the data members and the private for the class interest. It is default. By default they are private because we are not mentioned anything. But I am mentioning public because I want to access this get data and all outside the class definition. So get data. Here I am writing semicolon because I am ending the statement there. Compute. And then you have void put data. So these are the member functions of the class interest. Now I am expanding these member functions outside the class by using operator called as scope resolution operator. So this is the use of scope resolution operator. How I am expanding them outside the class? See, class ends here, right? So I am expanding now. So what is the return type of get data? That is void. I am writing void. Then what is a class which get data belongs to? That is interest. Interest is a class which belongs to get data belongs to interest. So void interest, then scope resolution operator and then member function. What is a member function? That is get data. Get data in that means we are just taking to accept variables, we are naming one function. The name of that function I kept as get data. If you want, you can take as accept. Anything is fine. Get data is commonly we are using throughout the program. So now I am writing the function body. What is the function body to accept variables? Again same. That is cout, enter, principal, time, rate. So then you have end L at the end. Then under scene. Scene is a statement which you are using to accept the variables P, T and R. So this is how you are going to expand member function outside the class. If you want, we can write one more, that is void interest compute, where we are going to write the formula to find the simple interest, that is SI is equal to PTR. Let me write, as I have a space, I am writing void interest scope resolution operator again, then you will be having compute. So what is compute? Compute is another member function of the class interest, which I am defining outside the class definition by using scope resolution operator. So here what is the formula to find SI? SI is here. We declared as a variable, that is data member. So these are all data members of a class. As these words are new for you, I am writing again and again. Member functions. These are member functions. These are all member functions. Okay. So the member functions of the class I am defining outside. So void interest, that is a class name we took. Then get data, we accept the variables. Now we are writing the second member function I am explaining outside. So return type specifier, class name, then member function. So always while telling example also, we have to memorize the syntax, so that syntax will be easily remembered to you. SI is equals to P into T into R divided by 100. This formula everyone knows, the formula to find the simple interest. So look into the example, half of your program is here only, that your 6th lab program to find the simple interest. So class, that is a keyword, interest is the interest is a class name. So for the class interest, I am writing data members and member functions. Till here it is class definition example only. We are writing only this, we are learning only this as a extra today. That is how you define member function outside the class definition. You can define the member functions outside the class definition by using the operator called as scope resolution operator. This is one more question which is important for Viva. So now, by using that, how you can define? We have a syntax for that, which I just explained for you people. Now I am explaining the example along with syntax. So return type specifier, that is void. Whatever you use here, the same has to be feasible. Then the class name to which your member function belongs to, same class name has to write and same member function has to take. So take a get data, that is accept the variables, and hence I am accept. This all you know, because this one is we teach in your first PUC only, how you are going to write, how you are going to accept variables, how you ask the user to give variables, and how the computer can able to accept the variables. And then I am expanding one more member function of a class called interest again outside the class to make sure that you are capable enough to understand the concept easily. I am giving 2 examples here. This is continuation of a program, okay, but if you write one, that is also enough in an examination. If you write only this much, that is also enough. But writing along with the class gives more weightage to your paper, more weightage to your answer. They are not supposed to deduct any marks when you write like this. That means you are writing a class, along with that you are showing get data belongs to where, which class it belongs to. It belongs to the class name called as interest. Under interest you have what are the data variables. So that also you are writing here. So it gives you a complete marks as an example for the member functions which you can define outside the class definition. Hope you people understand how you can define what is member function first, then how you can explain the member function, how you define the member functions inside the class definition and also outside the class definition. Inside the class definition is very easy, I am telling you again. Here the same, don't write the semicolon here, write the function body, that's all. That should be within this curly brace and semicolon. If you are writing them outside the class by using the operator called as scope resolution operator, which means you are defining the member functions outside the class. This is the easiest example which is also useful for your lab programs. While writing the program, while learning the programs, make sure that each and every line, dot, semicolon, comma, why you are using them, so that only there is no errors in your program while doing your hands-on lab. Otherwise, in a lab you may get hundreds of errors. So be very careful. Now, after very important topic in the chapter classes and objects, we are moving on to one more topic. After explanation of the topic member function. Hope you are clear. That I revise again. Member function is nothing but the functions which are defined inside the class. So now we are going for the concept of array of objects. Array of objects. So this session I will be continuing in the next record. So I am stopping there where you can understand what is member function and how you are going to write member functions inside the class and also outside the class. Thank you.